Hello, Tribe. I'm Julie Chase. I am with the Democratic candidate for the State House District number 26, Miss Jean Marie Lawrence. Miss Lawrence, how are you doing today?
Doing very well, thank you.
Hey, thanks for joining us. We just wanted to ask a few questions here. Miss Lawrence is going for the House seat in Chattanooga, and we were invited to come and ask her a couple of questions about why she feels she's the best candidate for this position. So I'm just going to let you take it from the top, ma'am. Why do you think you are the best candidate for this position?
I have a lot of professional experience and personal experience that I think really lends itself well to politics and to serving the entire community rather than just a small segment of it.
Fantastic. Okay, so what do you do for a living, ma'am?
I'm an emergency management planner at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga.
Now that sounds like a action-filled, complicated job. Do you think that qualifies you to be a politician? I think it does.
It is definitely action-packed. There are some days where we're just sitting behind the desk, but when something happens on campus, it's our job to respond and make sure that the first responders have what they need, have the resources they need, and the information they need to be able to respond appropriately. So there's a lot that goes into being an emergency management planner that I think lends itself well to also being a strong leader.
Okay, now your duty as an EMP, did that basically influence you in your decision to run, what you saw?
As an emergency management planner, no. Actually, what I saw as a citizen over the time that I've lived in Chattanooga is what motivated me to run. I've grown up with a disability. I went through the public education system with a disability. I went through higher education with a disability, and being part of a minority group, it really puts into perspective a lot of things. And I've seen enough over the years to know that those of us who live in marginalized communities are not being served the way that we should be. We're not being listened to the way that we should be. And that's why I ultimately decided to run.
Fantastic. If you get elected to the State House, ma'am, what is going to be your major priority?
I have a lot of things that I'd like to work on. Obviously, one of the most important things is healthcare. Medicaid expansion has to happen. But we also need to work on our public education system, and not just K through 12, but beyond K through 12, preparing our high school students for life after high school, doing whatever it is they envision themselves doing, whether it's getting a higher education or learning a trade that they can earn a fair wage from. And that's the third thing that I really intend to work on, is ensuring that Tennesseans have living wages. Our minimum wage is horrible, and that actually the majority of the jobs that Tennesseans have are minimum wage jobs, and you can't pay rent on that wage. You really need at least, ideally, $15 an hour in order to pay rent in the area. So
let me switch hands here because I'm using my boomstick here. And sometimes, folks, it gets heavy. Okay, you have basically a connection to the LGBTQ community. Would you like to talk about that?
yes, I do. I consider myself pansexual. Okay. Meaning I don't really believe that gender or any kind of identity matters to me. When I choose the person that I feel a connection to, that connection is what matters most to me. Okay. And I think that's really where the relationship stems from, is the emotional connection most of all. So,
is it safe to say, if you were elected, that you would be supportive of LGBTQ rights statewide?
Absolutely. In fact, one of the things that I would really love to work on within my first year is stronger protections for the LGBTQ community within housing, within job security. There's not enough protection out there.
Are you in favor of the City of Equality ordinance that's being bandied about in Chattanooga?
Yes, I'm absolutely in favor of.
Okay, fantastic. Is it also safe to say that it does not matter if someone is cisgender or heterosexual, you can serve that community too?
Absolutely. I really believe that the diversity of my background gives me the perspective to serve everybody, because I'm willing to listen and, to the best of my ability, put myself in the shoes of the other person and be able to find the best outcome possible for everyone.
Ma'am, it's fairly obvious you're in a wheelchair. I don't want to say disability. I think that's not a great word, but being in a wheelchair, would that affect your ability to serve your people?
Disability is fine with me. I actually identify as a disabled woman rather than a person with a disability. My disability is something that I really identify with a lot. It has recently become somewhat of a question, in particular because I recently have been dealing with a bout of pneumonia.
Okay.
I've never had pneumonia before, so it's new for me. I don't like to be...
It's no fun.
It's no fun. No, it has not been fun. I spent a week in the hospital, and this last week, the doctors have preferred that I not leave my house. So it's been a challenge for me because I'm a very outgoing go-getter. I don't like to sit still.
That's what I've been told.
Type of person. But it in no way has impacted my ability to reach out to voters. I have been making phone calls. I have been using social media. And I really think that that's a huge way to reach people today anyway. I would just like to say that I have muscular dystrophy. Yes, I'm human. I get sick. We all get sick.
Yes, ma'am.
But it in no way impedes my ability to serve my community.
Okay, last question for everybody out there, for anybody out there who's undecided about this election. What would you like to leave with people before Tuesday about State House 26 and why you should vote for you?
I think that District 26 for too long has had the same leader in that community. And now they have the opportunity to get fresh leadership and a fresh face. I think that I would be the best person for that job because I bring a plethora of different background and experiences to the position. And I am a person who's really going to listen to everybody across the board, no matter how much money they make, which zip code they live in, what their race, religion, or gender identity is. I care about everybody and helping everybody in the community.
Hey, thanks for sitting down with us. I'm Julie Chase. This is Out About Nashville.